Hi, and thank you all for joining us for another episode of Just Off College Avenue. Today we are going to be discussing networking with Valeri Coyler and Corey Shanchez. So please welcome both of them. Yay! And if both of you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit more about yourselves and the roles that you currently hold.
Well, I'm Corey Shanchez. I'm the Director of Alumni Engagement here at the college. Been here for, I think I'm working on year 7, so the sign of completion, right? And excited to be here.
Well, I am a Director of Human Resources for Ballad Health, and I have responsibilities on a regional level for the facilities that are in Wise, Dickinson, and Lee counties in Virginia. So I have been with Ballad Health for 38 years.
Wow.
So a long time. And love the role that I have. It gives me an opportunity to do a lot of things other than human resources. You'd imagine after 38 years you get to do a few things besides HR.
Is there any particular thing outside of HR in your role that you've done that you're really proud of, that makes you feel good?
Well, over the years, I've had an opportunity to participate in a lot of Ballad Health's community-related events. So things that Ballad does that are outside of the HR area, but still I have an opportunity to get out in the community, meet people, do things. That's been very rewarding, too, over the years.
So, Corey, how has working in alumni relations influenced your personal network?
It's a big net. I feel like I'm a fisherman sometimes because working with alumni come in all different shapes, sizes, backgrounds, roles, financial standards and everything. So you get to paint with a broad brush, and it's been awesome because I can talk to somebody who's been a business owner or to somebody who's been a teacher, and you can find similarities where they may have a lot of differences, and I mean it's good. And then you learn the history of the institution that way too. As
many people know, Ballad Health is a very large organization. So how do you think working at Ballad has helped you to grow your network and or with community involvement in that capacity?
Well, in HR, you have an opportunity to meet within Ballad Health a lot of your HR peers, and I've had an opportunity to work with our corporate level team as well as the teams that are in the facilities. But also, there's so many individuals that I come in contact with my work that are not related to the HR function at all, but a part of Ballad and the many, areas, facilities, and service lines that we offer in the in East Tennessee and Southwest Virginia area. So that opportunity is really where I meet most of the people that I have an individual networking relationship with, and have an opportunity to, have conversations, learn what's going on, find out things from them that I can find to still be useful in my work.
And I know that you're also on the UVA-Wise Alumni Board. So I know you've met a lot of people in that capacity. Do you think one is more beneficial than the other, or just different types of connections that you are making within the region in that way?
Well, it's different types of connections I think is the most beneficial. I've been on the alumni board for a long time, and I've served as president of the alumni board on 2 occasions. I'm currently president of the UVA-Wise Foundation Board, and I'm on the college board. Seems like I have a lot of boards. I found myself in the middle of that, whether I intended to or not, but it's a great opportunity. I meet many different people. Those networking opportunities are wonderful. The volunteer boards that the college has is an excellent way for individuals to meet others in the community, outside the community, the college area at large. My job gives me many networking opportunities as well that are not even associated with that. So it's a combination that you get the most from, but I will say that for someone that is a newer graduate or just coming out and is trying to get their foot in the door, the Alumni Board is a great place to become an active member and have opportunities to interact with people that can help you along the way.
If there are students who want to interact with the Alumni Board, is there already a set cadence to those meetings, or is there a place that I can link in the description that has updates on regular meetings and things like that?
They are open to the public, so and we meet twice a semester, and we meet at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday, every first Tuesday, every other month.
Well, the Alumni association has their homepage, which all of that information is contained there. And we're always looking for volunteers for our various functions that we have. Great opportunity to network, to meet people that have paved the path before you, if you will, that are out there in the world and that have the history of UVA-wise or Clinch Valley College. And those people can kind of help you along the way as well. So you get to meet those individuals. We have the alumni picnic, great opportunity to, just learn who's who, when they went to college, the individuals, their favorite professors they had an influence from. You have many different connections that you share a history with. So,
my next question, which is, what role do you think that networking plays for students who are looking for a job or even an internship? And do you have an experience possibly to share where knowing someone helped you get a role or an opportunity?
Well, I always say networking is your hidden job market. It's where you're going to find people that know what's open, that know where there's an opportunity for someone to apply for a job. It starts with I don't say who you know, but the individuals you connect with that know what's available. Before a job is long posted, there's probably a lot of conversation going on with people about, hey, I know someone. I'll give you an example. I got a text from one of my former team members that worked for me in HR a couple of weeks ago, and they had been to the school back to school event, and had met a UVA-wise student that was wanting to apply for one of our nursing internships, and they had a great opportunity to talk with that student. Learned a lot about them and saw them in action, basically volunteering at that event, and gave me a text and said, hey, if you can hire this person in the internship, they're going to be fabulous. And so that little, tip makes a big difference in whether we're able to say, hey, well, let's look at that guy. He may be the one we need to hire for this internship. We've got 5 applicants, but maybe he's the one. So.
And we've talked to several students in the past, letting them know about 80% of the job market usually is not necessarily posted, or when it's posted, someone is already in mind. So they really have to be out there networking and talking to people. And this is a great example of that.
I can think of, when I was in school, I was part of a fraternity here, and we still have a strong alumni background. And I'll never forget, it was one of our brothers was a football player, and, he's a rough guy, and he's an accountant and everything. And one of our professors here, who is retired, and he was a music guy, and it's like nowhere else would those two connect if it wasn't for one UVA-wise and wasn't for the fraternity. So I see those experiences all the time, and it's pretty cool because you can go back and you can fall back on that because somebody might know somebody that was a football player who's in the accounting world, and you're an athlete and you want to, hey, we can connect you with those people. I see from one of our presidents of the Alumni Association most recently, he's been in commercial real estate for, I think, over 40 years. Wow. And, he comes out here every, I'd say almost every quarter just to come out here. He's on the college board and stuff. And, those are experiences. Like if somebody wants to get into that line of business.
Connections through the Alumni Association are great. And there's individuals there that would be willing to, if someone said, hey, I understand you used to be in HR or you used to do something in banking, and that's my goal and that's what I want to do. Can you give me some pointers? Well, we have tons of alumni that would be, very happy to do that and help someone out, and just let them practice with them and just sit down and have a conversation. You never need to go and say, hey, do you have a job for me? But you need to go in and say, hey, what can you tell me that's important that I need to know as I start looking at this career opportunity? So I think that those connections that they are going to automatically have available to them, just choose to take them.
That kind of falls into the informational interview piece, which I don't know if you've heard of VTOP before, the Virginia Talent Plus Opportunity Partnership, but that's one thing in their modules for students that they talk about is do an informational interview. Don't ask for a job. Ask them about the role that they have and learn more about them so that you can have them as a connection. As you've built your network, are there any insights that you've uncovered that you want to make sure students know about?
I would say I'd give the oxymoronic advice of being comfortable with being uncomfortable. As cliche as it sounds, but you're never going to take steps if you stay in your comfort zone. My mom raised me. She's like, when you walk into a room, you always speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I never understood that until now. I've gotten older, and I've got a little boy now, and I'm like, I get it, because that is your first impression.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they speak. Oh, well, okay, they're willing to speak. They don't know me, but they speak. That's nice. And people are like, well, that's a nice person. They spoke. They didn't know anybody. So I really do think it, and that's part of putting yourself out there. It's awkward at first,
Mm-hmm.
but that's okay. Embrace the awkward. It's all right. But and I think now today in society, we don't embrace that as much.
Mm-hmm.
As being kind of in the professional realm, it's like, oh, we can't make a mistake, and
Mm-hmm.
that's all right. And you know what? I was just tell in a professional world too. Don't be afraid to not know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
We have so many resources. It's okay. We have compounded ourselves. I don't know is an answer,
Mm-hmm.
but you gotta say I don't know, but we're gonna find out. So and that's like. Those are those are kind of those experiences that I've seen.
I think networking for me has been something that just has been a casual approach. It's not something I've said I'm going to go out and network. Now, I will say this: when I graduated from Clinch Valley College at the time, I did not come out saying I am going to be in HR. I found my calling. In actuality, I spent the first 3 years here pursuing the prerequisites to go to law school. And then I decided that I didn't feel like law school was going to be where I needed to be. And so I went to my advisor. Stanley Willis was my advisor at the time. Let's go back in time years and years ago. But Stanley was one of the history professors here at the college, renowned. He was a character. He was an individual that, you just enjoyed talking with. Mm-hmm. And so I went to Stanley and said, listen, I've decided that I don't want to go to law school. And I think I might want to change my major. And he said, well, why do you want to change your major from history? And I said, well, what can I do with a history major? And Stanley said, well, let me just tell you, I've got history majors that they don't just teach, Valerie, because everybody thinks you go into history, you're going to go teach. And they don't just go to law school. I've got them in business. I've got them doing everything you can imagine, running their own businesses. It's just a wide variety. So after I got some words of wisdom from Stanley to stack away, and I thought about it, and I decided, I want to keep the history major. I just picked up some business classes to round out, that the class work that I didn't have that was strong in the business area, and still had a ton of political science classes that I, enjoyed too. So I was able to take that and then use all of that. But it was great advice that I got, and by going to my faculty support there, I kind of started my networking opportunity, because I knew whenever it came time to look for a job, those guys were going to help me out, and they did.
It's fun when you're not you're doing something, but you don't realize you're doing it. Mm-hmm. That's what that's what I think networking is.
Yes, it becomes natural.
Yeah, it's just anywhere and everywhere is an opportunity to network. Whether you're in your career, I mean, if you go to the grocery store, that's an opportunity to network.
So this is maybe a little bit unusual of a question to ask, but we have told students in the past that having a professional membership, if you can, because some professional memberships have student options that are free or at a significantly reduced price, are a good option. Can you speak to the value of any professional memberships, or if that's a great way for students to network with people?
Those professional memberships are invaluable. And if you can take advantage of any professional membership at a reduced or free cost, please do so, because once you get out into the work world, you're not going to have those free opportunities to continue those. But, you want to be able to, get into your area. If you don't know what area you want to be in, but you kind of think there's 2 or 3, seek out and see what the opportunities there may be for a reduced fee, if not a student fee. I know SHRM, the Society of Human Resources Management, in the HR world is the kind of like the first class association that you want to find yourself with, there's opportunities for students. ASHRA, which is the American Society of Healthcare Human Resources Professionals, which I belong to both. ASHRA also has student opportunities, and that's for individuals that think they want to work in HR in healthcare. It's even that specialized. But you can get in on those conferences that they have at a reduced fee. The conferences are a great opportunity. Sometimes they're, within like ASHRA's conferences next year will be in Savannah, Georgia. Easily drivable.
Yes, not too far away.
You don't have a lot of cost tied up in travel. So those things are definitely something you should explore. The other thing I will mention about being in a student role, there's opportunities that you can volunteer for various activities that are within for example, the Southwest Virginia Economic Development Forum that the college hosts in May each year. Great opportunity to network, great opportunity just to meet people. And I'm pretty sure the college is looking for volunteers at all times to come in and work, helping with the setup, meeting people, just, policing things during the course of the day that need to be taken care of. And so volunteer for stuff like that. You're going to meet a lot of people.
Oh, yes. And if you want to volunteer for the Economic Forum, that's actually in my division, so I can connect you with the right people. So just reach out.
And there's one thing that I have noticed with individuals that have graduated in the last few years is they lack a little bit of self-confidence about what they've got to offer in the job market. And that is not very true. They should have a lot of self-confidence about what they have to offer. So one of the ways to develop that is to just develop your elevator pitch, what you're going to say about yourself. How do you describe what you know and what you can tell people about what you can do, and be confident about it. Just practice in the mirror. Talk to yourself in the mirror, video yourself. See how you, and no one ever likes to hear themselves, or, because this will be awful for me to hear what this thing sounds like, but to see themselves or hear themselves. But, the more you talk, the more you practice, the more you develop the confidence that you need. And that elevator pitch is it's your personal value statement.
A lot of that practicing in the mirror stuff or hearing yourself, like in the podcast, there are times where I'm like, wow, I don't like that, but here we are. Students who practice on that, their confidence levels definitely are higher, and puts them in circles with you and other people to be more successful. My last formal question is, in the spirit of curiosity, because I'm always, we tell students to stay curious, just keep learning things, and especially if you get into a rut where you feel like, I just am not feeling creative, I'm not feeling in tune with my classes, pick up something that's totally outside and just give it a try. Is there a recommendation that you have, whether it's a book, a podcast, a theater production, anything like that you'd like students to consider if they need a spark of curiosity?
I like to listen to podcasts. Like to listen to TED Talks when I get an opportunity to, because there's an array of things. I'm a sports junkie, so that's what I pretty much do, football and primarily. So I'm constantly looking up stuff like that, and that you have to find where your zen is pretty much, and that's my zen, and it's just listening to those things, podcasts, whether it's sports, whether it's something in the field, and I'm always searching. I love Google, I love social media. I like. People put articles up sometimes, and I'm like, I want to see what's behind this.
Yeah.
Like, I always
dive deeper than just the article.
Yeah, just dive deeper than the article. It could be. I'm weird. I watch movies. with IMDb on. Like, I'm on my phone. Like, I think I've seen that person. Oh, they did this. Oh, I didn't know that they lived in Johnson City, Tennessee for you. I said, it's pretty cool. Like. And my wife gets mad at me sometimes. She's like, why are you in your phone? I was like, I just have to be. I have to look and constantly learning.
Yeah. Spotify has, and as well as Pandora, have a ton of podcasts that are available out there. You could just type in what topic, something you'd like to learn more about, and those are great. Career Talk is available there. There's also on NPR.
Yeah.
They have a lot of young professionals, networking podcasts, just, developmental topics that, you want to learn more about. The only way you learn some of this stuff is experiential. And if you don't ever have the opportunity for the experience, you may not pick up on it. But if you have an opportunity to hear others talk about their experience, listen to it. Ask those people that you encounter, can they tell me some things about X? This is a hot topic right now. I understand. What can you tell me about X? Because that's going to be something that you really, can benefit from long term, no matter what. And the other thing I will stress, work ethic. When you have the opportunity to demonstrate it, demonstrate it. Like the young man I was talking about that I got the text, that we're talking about how hard he had worked at that event that day, all the hours he had put in, and he just, looked for things to do, didn't wait for somebody to say, hey, can you go? He was volunteering himself. Yeah. And so the work ethic that you show others is going to make everything a very good opportunity for you in the long run to take advantage of other things that may come your way. So,
in the podcast, because you've both mentioned, podcasts and listening, one that I always recommend it's called Ologies by Alie Ward. She talks to all kinds of people in different fields, and there's even one where she's talking to someone who works with coffee, specifically the sciences of coffee. They know about, there's apparently a wild cat that'll eat the coffee beans and then excretes them, and apparently the coffee beans cost a whole lot of money. So she talks to someone who knows more about that and all kinds of topics. And so I always recommend that. If someone asks me, I'm like, that's a really good. Is there any other of anything that you would like to share before we close out?
One thing I was going to mention, when we were talking about the student affiliations and the, organizations that you can join, get business cards.
Yes.
Get your personal calling card developed. That sounds so old-fashioned, but if you're in an event and you have an opportunity to walk up to somebody and say, hey, I'm Valeri Coyler, and hand them your card, my contact information's on here. Can I call you sometime about blah? I heard you speak of this at the event today. Or, I have a friend that said they work with your husband, brother, sister, whoever. That networking opportunity shouldn't stop with just people you meet out in the business world. Keep in mind that they have relatives. They have people they know. They have, relatives. Even relatives can be a networking opportunity. Yes. But those business cards are kind of like a thing that connect you to all of that. And you can get a few, 100 printed for nothing, or do it at home. You can print it on your own laptop and do a nice little business card that you can use as your calling card and make it look professional.
So I will say I have seen templates on Canva. If you want to create a business card to print it off and you want it to look really pretty, you can definitely use that. And then Tanya Nations, who's the Career Center Director, she uses digital business cards. I think she uses Blink, BLINQ, and I've used Link, LNIQ. They love their Qs, to create that, and it's a QR code and they can scan it. It's in their phone. So that's an option too if you don't have the funds to print or the time to be creative, but you can put all your contact information in there. So that's a really great tip. I love that. Yeah. If you slip up and you don't get someone's business card, look them up on LinkedIn and connect with them, just because you don't want to lose contact with someone. You just don't.
We appreciate you. I that goes without saying. Like, we appreciate you from our students, our faculty, staff, alums. We're all like I look at that. They're all alums of UVA-wise. Whether you get the big degree or not, you've shared in the experience of this college. My biggest thing is when you're here, and if you've been here a year, if you've been here a month, you're my alum. Like that is because you've experienced UVA-wise. And how can we help connect you with people on the next step? Like that's key, because if we aren't working with you as a sophomore, as a freshman, by the time you're a junior, senior, you're like, I'm already getting ready to get out of here, and so we want to help you here, and like anything we can do, like we can connect you with the right folks, like a Valeri. We can do that. Like I said, Fran Hunt, who I mentioned, was the in real estate development. So I mean, these are people we can get you connected. You can contact me you can email me, and then Katie Pridemore, who is our office manager, she's great help as well. And anything that we can do to help you all out, we're more than willing to do that.
Thank you both so much for coming on. In 2 weeks' time, we'll have another episode up, and all of our links will be in the description, anything that we have mentioned, so please check those out as well. Thanks.